Hello, everyone, and welcome to Poda Lifestyle Wellness Limited's live corporate webinar. My name is David Vidala, and I'm from RBMG. The company is listed on the Canadian Stock Exchange under the symbol PODA. Joining us today is Poda's CEO, Ryan Selby, who will be going through the company's May investor presentation, including an overview on the company, its current operations, upcoming milestones, and share some insight on the changing landscape of the tobacco industry. Ryan will also discuss the heat-not-burn market and Poda's aim to be at the forefront by providing adult smokers with reduced risk consumption methods. At the end of the presentation, we will open it up for questions for management to address. If you are interested in asking a question and are logged into the GoToWebinar app or web platform, you can submit your questions to us by typing them into the chat module or the question module. Please note that this presentation is being recorded today, Wednesday, May 12th, and will soon be made available on Poda's website at podalifestyle.com. This May presentation is currently available on Poda's website, and today's call may contain forward-looking statements that are subject to risks and uncertainties that may cause actual results, performance, or developments to differ materially from those contained in the statements and are not guarantees of future performance of the company. No assurance can be given that any of the events anticipated by the forward-looking statements will occur, or if they do occur, what benefits the company will obtain from them. Also, some risks and uncertainties may be out of the control of the company. Poda's full disclaimer is available on one of the first few slides of Poda's presentation and on Poda's website. Lastly, RBMG is not a registered investment advisor or broker-dealer. For more information, please visit rbmilestone.com. It is now my pleasure to introduce you to Poda's CEO, Ryan Selby. Ryan, over to you.
Great. Thanks for that introduction, David, and thanks for having us to be here today. We're very excited to share our deck with our investors and potential future investors, and I'm looking forward to giving an overview of what we've been up to and where we see the future of this company. So I guess without further ado, I'll dive into the presentation. After the presentation, I'll be available for a Q&A session to answer any questions that may arise. Thank you. All right. So, our disclaimer, I would encourage everybody to review the disclaimer, like David mentioned. And I guess without further ado, we'll dive into it. So essentially, Poda is what I believe is the best heat-not-burn product ever created. Now, heat-not-burn is a way of consuming tobacco and other substances in a reduced risk format. And what that means is that rather than using combustion to extract nicotine and other flavorings out of tobacco and other materials, we can obtain a similar result by simply heating the material to precise temperatures to release the nicotine and flavors out of the material without actually combusting the material. This is important because many of the risks associated with traditional smoking come from the actual combustion of the tobacco and not necessarily from the nicotine or other flavorings in the tobacco. And so by heating tobacco rather than combusting it, we can potentially dramatically reduce the risks associated with smoking. And so Poda has developed an innovative heat-not-burn product which uses our proprietary zero-cleaning single-use pods. And that's an important thing because what that means is our product provides exactly the same experience to customers day in and day out with no cleaning and no maintenance required whatsoever. That is maybe not immediately apparent as a major pain point for a customer, but with all other competitors' devices. Very soon after use, within 20 cigarettes of being consumed through it, cleaning and maintenance becomes a regular thing that's required almost every 20 cigarettes. And if that maintenance and cleaning isn't performed, the performance of the device suffers dramatically. As well, smoke and other residues build up inside the device. And this leads to a strong smelling device that's not a great thing to carry around. It's kind of like carrying around an ashtray in your pocket. So Poda's system completely eliminates all cleaning requirements and provides an absolutely consistent user experience day in and day out. We have developed a tobacco-free Beyond Burn blend, which essentially is a blend of tea leaves and mint leaves to which we add synthetic nicotine. This has been crafted to create an experience as similar to smoking as possible. It's a very enjoyable way of consuming nicotine. And most importantly, because it contains absolutely no tobacco ingredients, it exists outside the realm of all current tobacco duties and tax regulations. And that allows us to sell our product at a very competitive price point. The Beyond Burn blend gives a very satisfying smoke-free replacement for adult smokers. I think it's important to reiterate, we're not trying to convert any non-smokers to smoking. We further believe that the best path for any existing smoker is to quit smoking. I think in reality, many people are unable to quit smoking, and Poda's mission, therefore, is to deliver alternatives to current adult smokers that allow them to continue their habit while potentially reducing the risks associated with smoking. Our products, we have spent a huge amount of time and money patenting all aspects of our Zero Clean pods. That means we've patented a closed-ended cigarette. We've filed that patent now in over 65 countries. That's a very exciting patent for us because it means we're essentially the only company in the world who can do a closed-ended cigarette. And what the closed-ended cigarette means is that's essentially the only way to eliminate all cleaning and contamination of the heating device. And so with the Poda system, we've got a patented way of eliminating almost all pain points associated with any other heat not burn products. Heat not burn as an industry is something that many people in North America are not familiar with yet, but it's something that has really taken the tobacco world by storm. In Japan, where heat not burn was introduced in 2016 by Philip Morris through a product called IQOS, heat not burn has now captured almost 25% of the Japanese smoker market. They've really experienced phenomenal growth in the sales of their heated tobacco products. And Philip Morris their stated goal is to create 50% of their net revenues through the sale of heated tobacco products by 2025. And that's something that I think is extremely exciting for Poda because it means this massive company, Philip Morris, who has traditionally been selling combustible cigarettes, has really realized the value of heated tobacco products, and they are going all in on transitioning their customers towards the use of heated tobacco products as opposed to combustible products. The downside of the IQOS product is, like I mentioned, extensive cleaning requirements. The device must be cleaned every 20 sticks. If it's not cleaned, device performance suffers dramatically, and the smell begins to build up in the device to the point where the device is very off-putting to carry around. We believe the Poda system is a much better alternative for customers who are either looking to switch to a heated tobacco product or have already switched to using the IQOS product. And so I think from a company point of view, we have a very big opportunity to claim major market share in a very rapid time by offering a substantially better product to consumers. In addition to that, through our patenting process, we've patented a number of other IP holdings, which I think have relevance as we continue to grow in the future. And we're well poised to be able to defend our intellectual property now and in the future as we expand our operations. Revenue generation, primarily through three complementary verticals. We've got our Beyond Burn Poda Pods, which will be launching in late Q2 of this year. We have our Beyond Burn devices, which are essentially used to heat the Beyond Burn pods. And then we have some white labeling partnerships, which we're in discussions with a number of companies, essentially to white label our products under their existing brands. And this can help to dramatically increase our scale and reach in a very quick manner. Okay. So essentially the highlights of Poda, we've spent about $5 million over the last 6 years developing this product. We've poured a huge amount of effort into making what I believe is the best heat not burn product in the world. Poda really delivers a fantastic consumer experience, and I think we're well poised to capture significant market share. Poda offers a system that is really better than ordinary smoking. And what I mean by that is it delivers the same feeling as traditional smoking. And that's something that electronic cigarettes and other products really can't do. Heated tobacco products offer an experience much closer to traditional smoking, offering the same kind of throat hit and feeling of inhalation that you get with traditional cigarettes. However, Poda additionally delivers a smoke-free way of doing that. And that means that there is actually no smoke created. There's just a small amount of aerosolized nicotine and aerosolized tobacco flavor that allows you to experience the best parts of tobacco without having all of the downsides associated with smoke. It also means that the residual odors created by the Poda product are essentially none, which means if you're smoking and you're in a room or in your car, there's no lingering odor created. And that's a major thing for a consumer to not have the stigma of smelling like a cigarette. Your hands don't smell, your clothes don't smell. I think it offers a much better user experience. There's also no ash created in the product, so no need for ashtrays or the risk of, dumping ash on yourself or in other undesired places. And additionally, the Poda system, because of it heating tobacco instead of combusting it, can actually offer a potentially dramatically reduced risk experience. The no cleaning required is something that I think is really one of our major features in the Poda system. And really what it delivers is the same experience for consumers day in and day out. And that means each time you use a Poda pod, you simply take the pod out of the device and dispose of it. That all of the mess, everything that was created inside the pod is contained within the pod. So removing the pod from the device completely cleans the entire system so that the next time you use a pod, you're experiencing a fresh pod each time you use it. And that's something that is a really major deliverable for our consumers, because an average smoker smokes between 10 and 30 cigarettes a day. If you multiply that by 365 days a year, you're looking at thousands of cigarettes being smoked through a heat not burn device. And when you have thousands of cigarettes going through a device like that, any other system which doesn't provide a zero cleaning platform requires a huge amount of user maintenance in order just to simply continue using the device. The Poda system entirely alleviates that. Additionally, it delivers exactly the same fresh experience from each pod with no previous pod contamination or flavor from previous pods being transferred into the current pod. Our IP protection, we've taken this very seriously since the founding of our company, and we've filed extensive patents covering virtually all aspects of our pods. That includes the closed-ended pod, that includes the method for producing the pods, it includes the materials that the pods are made out of, as well as some other ancillary patents filed around alternate embodiments of our pods and some aspects of our heating devices. All of our patents have been filed in PCT, which is the Patent Cooperation Treaty filings. That allows us to enter into over 180 countries around the world with our national patent entries. Those filings that have been entered into the national phases are expected to be granted by the end of 2023 in over 65 countries around the world. And a rare investment opportunity, I think this is a really important thing, is there are 1.3 billion smokers in the world currently, and those smokers are consuming over 5 trillion cigarettes per year. Poda offers a way for every one of those smokers to continue their habit while potentially dramatically reducing the risks associated with smoking. And like I said, I think the best thing would be for smokers to just give up the habit, quit entirely. But I think the reality is that that's not going to happen. And so our mission is to provide superior alternatives to traditional smoking while reducing the risks associated with smoking. And we've got a strong team of management in place to deliver our products on a truly global level. Myself, I'm the co-founder of the company, CEO. I have invented numerous products over the years. I've spent the last 6 years developing Poda products, and I'm very excited about the future of this company and the products that we have to offer to the world. My co-founder, Ryan Karkaran, has extensive experience in the smoking industry. He has a background in senior management and sales roles, and very well understands consumer purchasing habits, as well as many of the sensorial aspects of the smoking experience. Our CFO, Paul Chulo, has, again, a very extensive background working with a number of senior corporate finance and accounting companies. He's a certified CPA, MBA, and he really helps us to make sure that all of our filings are compliant and well done. Karen Maryfield, our head of creative, she's really a fantastic branding genius. I'm just constantly impressed by the things she does in terms of all of the marketing and deliverables for our product and corporate facing materials. And we're very lucky to have her expertise to help guide us in the creation of all consumer facing materials. Daniel Chen is a strategic advisor we brought on. Daniel is a very successful designer and inventor and I guess sales of products in the electronic cigarette and heat-not-burn industries. He has supplied his products to all of the major tobacco companies around the world. He has a very impressive track record of pretty extensive success in essentially all of the alternate smoking industries. And we're very lucky to have him on board to help guide us as we grow into a truly global company. So again, industry highlights. This is really a massive opportunity. There are currently 5.7 trillion cigarettes being legally purchased and consumed each year by over 1.3 billion consumers. Each one of those consumers represents a potential Poda customer as the benefits of the Poda system become more well known. Additionally, the landscape around smoking is changing. People are becoming more and more aware of the health risks of smoking. Governments are introducing new regulations and taxes and duties aimed at curbing traditional smoking. And Poda, with its superior technology, aims to provide customers with a much better alternative to traditional smoking, while potentially dramatically reducing the risks associated with smoking. So IQOS is essentially Poda's main competitor in the heat-not-burn space. IQOS has really experienced phenomenal growth. In 2020, they sold over 85 billion heat-not-burn cigarettes. They are adding almost 3,000 customers per day to their system on a global level. And we believe that each one of those customers is a potential Poda customer as the benefits of our system versus the IQOS system become apparent. IQOS is a massive company, or Philip Morris is a massive company. They have invested more than $8 billion US into the science and research regarding heat not burn as a potentially reduced risk product. They've just recently received FDA approval to begin sales of the product in the United States. So over the coming years, I think we're going to see a massive explosion of heat-not-burn products in North America. And that's something that currently, many people are not aware of heat-not-burn products in North America. If you go to Asia, there's much, much more awareness, and the prevalence of use of the product is dramatically increased. I think we're going to see that in North America over the coming years, and that's Poda's goal, is to be really at the forefront of that expansion. Okay, so just to talk a little bit about the general market of nicotine delivery vehicles. So I think everybody is familiar with cigarettes. They've been around for thousands of years in one form or another. Essentially, they involve igniting tobacco in order to create smoke. That smoke contains nicotine and flavors. Then the smoke can be inhaled, and that provides the experience of smoking. The downsides of that are that many or almost all of the toxic ingredients in smoke are generated from the actual combustion of the material. And so by avoiding or eliminating combustion entirely, you can dramatically reduce the toxicants in the vapor created from heating the material. E-cigarettes are something that came around about 10 years ago. They've really experienced fairly phenomenal success in the market. The downside to e-cigarettes is that they fail to provide a true analog to traditional smoking. And I think that's really borne out in the numbers when you look at e-cigarette adoption on a global level. Only about 30% of e-cigarette users are people who switched from smoking cigarettes to using electronic cigarettes. And I think that's because you really have to be committed to quitting smoking and starting electronic cigarette use if that's the way you want to go to reduce your risk. Electronic cigarettes are not a direct analog to smoking, and they don't offer the same experience as smoking. So it's not as simple as handing a smoker an e-cigarette and they say, oh, great, I'll just switch right away. That's where heated tobacco products offer an experience that's much closer to the experience of traditional smoking. And the adoption rates of heat-not-burn products really show that. The fact that 25% of the Japanese market has already switched to consuming heated tobacco products really shows that switching to heated tobacco products is a much easier thing for smokers to do than switching to electronic cigarette products. There are some other tobacco products in the market, including snus, chewing tobacco, nicotine gum, etc. These products have really not replaced traditional smoking in any significant way. Their market share remains a very small segment of the total nicotine consumption in the global world. And that's really where heated tobacco products are a very exciting new development that has really come in the last 5 years. Heated tobacco products provide a much closer analog to the sensory experience of traditional smoking, and they've been capturing an increasing market share of the traditional cigarette market in essentially every country they've been launched in. And I think Poda, again, is very well poised to capture traditional cigarette smokers as the benefits of the Poda system become more well known, and as people look to potentially reduced risks alternatives to continue their smoking habit. The traditional cigarette market is truly massive. Like I said, 5.6 trillion cigarettes are smoked every year around the world. That amounts to a market revenue of over $800 billion annually. Believe it or not, the tobacco market is expected to continue to grow by almost 3% over the next 4 years. There are approximately 1.3 billion tobacco smokers worldwide, and that number is expected to continue to increase, although the adoption of reduced risk products, I think, will continue to increase, as well as the widely known health impacts of smoking drive more and more consumers to seek reduced risk alternatives. The electronic cigarette market has experienced some fairly phenomenal success, although they have not managed to really peel off many traditional smokers. The vast majority, over 70% of e-cigarette users, are people who never smoked or had already quit smoking and then started using e-cigarettes. And I think that creates a number of challenges in the electronic cigarette market, including, use by minors and other things, as well as appealing to non-smokers. Like I said, Poda's mission is really not to convert any non-smokers to smokers. We aim to provide superior alternatives to existing smokers in order to provide them with satisfactory ways to switch to a potentially reduced risk system. The heat-not-burn market is a relatively new market. It's less than 5 years old on a global level. And the experience of the major players in the market is that this is a really game-changing product, and it's something that IQOS and Philip Morris has really gone all in on. They have stated that their goal is within the next 20 years to create an actual smoke-free future. They envision transitioning 100% of their customers to tobacco alternatives and entirely eliminating combustible cigarettes from their portfolio. Now, that's a very massive company, and to see them going all in on heat-not-burn, I think is a really exciting sign of the efficacy of heated tobacco products, and it's something where Poda is well poised to really participate at a major global level in this market. So some challenges in the tobacco industry, obviously increasing costs as government taxes and duties increase. Governments are introducing regulations, taxes, and duties essentially all over the world aimed at curbing or reducing the use of tobacco products, primarily because of the health risks associated with traditional smoking. That's where heated tobacco products have the potential to really change the landscape there and offer consumers a price-effective way to continue their habit without sacrificing the satisfaction that they've become accustomed to. In heated tobacco products, the device cleaning and maintenance is a major problem, and it's something that essentially cannot be alleviated without the use of a closed-ended cigarette. That's something where Poda has patented the only heated tobacco product with a closed end anywhere in the world. And we're very excited about being able to offer a product to consumers that just completely eliminates device cleaning and maintenance. Additionally, our zero cleaning product offers a completely smell-free way of consuming tobacco. There's no residue whatsoever built up in the device. And that's something that I think continues to provide significant value to consumers because they are carrying around a heating device in their pocket. If that device is contaminated with residues, then that device smells like an ashtray, and nobody wants to carry around an ashtray in their pocket. Cigarette-like satisfaction. So this is a major one. Like I touched on earlier, electronic cigarettes and other tobacco alternatives really fail to deliver the same experience as smoking, and therefore have not been able to effectively convince existing smokers to switch over to the potentially reduced risk methods. Electronic cigarettes have many advantages, but they do not offer an easy switching platform for existing cigarette smokers. Heated tobacco products offer a much closer experience to traditional smoking, and user adoption is at a much higher rate for converting traditional smokers to the use of heated tobacco products. Multi-substance platforms. So essentially any other heated tobacco product in the world has no ability to use other substances in their platform. And because of cross-contamination between pods, they're really stuck with doing their one substance, and that's tobacco. The Poda closed-ended pod opens a whole potential of possibilities for us to include many different substances in our pods. Those substances could range from tobacco, organic tobaccos, tobacco substitutes, caffeine products, like we can actually vaporize espresso and other things, cannabis products, medicinal herbs, CBD, many other products could be consumed in our Poda system. And those are things that as we continue to expand our operations, we are going to be looking at bringing in other substances in different jurisdictions around the world in order to maximize consumer choice and consumer experience. Additionally, because our system offers such a close analog to traditional smoking, it really offers some exciting opportunities for smoking cessation tools. With our Beyond Burn Poda pods, we can very closely control the amount of synthetic nicotine in each pod, and that provides us with really exciting opportunities to gradually reduce the nicotine content in each pod in a smoking cessation system. And those are things that, as we continue to move forward, we'll be looking at doing some efficacy studies regarding the use of Poda as a smoking cessation tool. Like I said, our goal is really to help existing customers switch to a reduced risk system, or potentially to give up the tobacco habit entirely. I think the best thing for the world would be if people didn't smoke at all, but I think that's not something that's going to happen, and therefore Poda is really well poised to provide alternatives to those customers who continue to choose to smoke and to, I guess, who are looking for reduced risk ways to continue smoking. So Beyond Burn Poda pods, I think I've touched on most of these things. Our zero cleaning and zero maintenance design offers customers a really hassle-free way of using our product day in and day out. Our Beyond Burn blend provides a perfectly mimicked experience to traditional smoking without any actual tobacco materials. We're going to be launching our Beyond Burn pods in 6 flavors initially, but the flavor potentials are virtually limitless as we expand into different markets. Because we're not combusting the material, the toxic constituents of traditional cigarette smoke are almost entirely absent from the emissions produced by Beyond Burn Poda pods, and our Beyond Burn pods are largely outside the scope of existing tobacco regulations and duties, and that offers us the ability to sell our products at much more aggressive price points than traditional tobacco products can be sold at. Additionally, our low-cost production facilities allow us to compete head-on with any of our industry peers. We're able to produce our products at extremely cost-effective price points, which gives us the potential to sell at a truly global level and compete head-on with any existing competitor. We have white labeling opportunities that can help us to rapidly increase our distribution reach. Many different content offerings are in the pipeline, and our pods can be used to enjoy many different substances. Our flagship Beyond Burn device is essentially an extremely simple device for consumers to use. It offers a one-button operation, fast charging battery that's capable of heating almost or over 20 cigarettes per charge. The device has 3 different temperature settings on it, which can help to change the strength of the vapor produced. The low setting of heat provides a very mild experience. The high setting provides a more robust experience, and the mid is a blend of the two. We anticipate launching a number of different devices across different price points to provide maximum consumer choice for how they want to heat our Beyond Burn Poda pods. All of the devices we bring out will be cross-compatible with any Poda pod. So essentially one pod that can be used in many different devices. The consumer can choose the device that most resonates with them. Different devices may have different battery size, so be able to heat different numbers of sticks, different materials, finishes, looks, colors, you name it. There's virtually limitless possibilities to what we can do on the device side. Our manufacturing facility, currently we have built a pilot manufacturing facility in China. At this facility, we're currently producing pods. We're packaging them in cartons of 100 pods. Each carton contains 10 packs. There's 10 pods per pack. Our proprietary process provides us with extremely low-cost automated production. We're currently producing about 400,000 pods per month. We've essentially built this pilot manufacturing facility in order to prove and demonstrate exactly all of the technologies required to scale to virtually any size production we want to. And we are now, after launching on the CSE, and as we continue to go, we're going to be rapidly expanding our production capabilities. Because our systems for production are patented and proprietary, we can install these production facilities at any location in the world. And because they're almost entirely automated, the costs associated with labor in different countries is not a major factor for the production of our pods. That allows us to install our facilities at strategic locations around the world in order to maximize a number of different factors of production. And our Beyond Burn devices are currently manufactured at a world-class e-cigarette factory. They produce millions of devices per year, and they provide us with an opportunity to grow the production of our heating devices at virtually unlimited scalability. Intellectual property, like I said, we've taken the filings of intellectual property very seriously. We've filed patents covering essentially all aspects of our pods, devices, and manufacturing. We've also trademarked our Beyond Burn slogan in the US, Canada, the UK, and the European Union. And we are committed to continuing our intellectual property filings around the world as we move forward, as well as defending our property as need be. So our existing distribution, we have signed an LOI with a company in China called Shenzhen Esun Technology. They currently distribute over 50 million IQOS compatible cigarettes into the Chinese and European markets, 50 million per month. They love the Poda product and are very excited to include their material in the Poda system. We are in the process of scaling up a trial launch of our product through their existing distribution platforms, and we anticipate that those initial offtake volumes will be in excess of 10 million pods per month from our facilities. White labeling, we have a number of different discussions ongoing with a few white labeling partners, and those have some very exciting potential. We'll be providing more updates as we move forward on that. Our direct-to-consumer sales channel, we anticipate launching a direct-to-consumer portal on our website in late Q2, where people will be able to purchase and try our Beyond Burn pods directly from our website. And we have ongoing discussions in place with a number of distributors around the world in the FMCG category, which is fast-moving consumer goods, and we anticipate selling our products essentially everywhere that cigarettes are traditionally sold. So the competition, essentially the competition is the IQOS device from Philip Morris. As you can see from this slide, in 2015, they had essentially no sales. In 2016, they started out, and you can see by the numbers that their growth was extremely rapid as consumers tried the system and realized, wow, this is a great alternative to traditional smoking, and it's something that I can switch to very quickly without having to make any difficult switching behavior. It's something that offers a very close analog to traditional smoking. It's somewhat amazing that the adoption has been as fast as it has been when you consider the daily cleaning requirements of the device and some of the downsides associated with the smell and other things created by the residues in the device. And I think this, again, from our perspective, is a very exciting opportunity to see how fast they were able to acquire customers with a product that is, in our opinion, inferior to the Poda system. And so we anticipate being able to have a very aggressive growth trajectory as we move forward with marketing our products. Device price, as you can see, Poda is aiming to be competitive in device pricing in essentially every market. And when you look at the consumer spending behaviors, there's a significant outlay of annual dollars from consumers consuming the IQOS system. Very comparable to revenue outlays from the sale of traditional cigarettes. And that's something I think is very exciting when you look at the numbers of e-cigarettes compared to traditional cigarettes. You can see that e-cigarettes have a dramatically reduced consumer spend, whereas heated tobacco products, primarily the IQOS product, is still driving a very large annual consumer spend from the consumption of their products. And Poda anticipates having a similar revenue model to the IQOS system. So timeline milestones. Essentially, 2017 is when we started filing our patent applications. In 2019, our first major patent was granted in Canada. We've now filed that patent in over 65 jurisdictions globally. In January 2021, we began the production at our pilot manufacturing facility in China. We've reached essentially a 400,000 per month capacity, and that capacity will be dramatically increased as we make additional investments in the production equipment. March of 2021, we completed the development on our Beyond Burn tobacco products. And just last week, we were able to list our shares on the CSE. Moving forward, we anticipate listing on the Frankfurt Exchange very soon, and as well as on the US OTCQB, hopefully sometime in early June. Moving forward, we'll be launching our Beyond Burn pods on our retail platform on our website. Those will be available in 6 flavors, with more to come after that. Our market test launch with ESON in China will be launched again in late Q2, so coming up in about a month here. And then moving forward, we anticipate entering into an offtake agreement with ESON to distribute our products into the Chinese market, as well as white labeling opportunities and other distribution opportunities moving forward. And again, we will continue to update our investors as we hit our milestones and as new milestones are created. So just to reiterate the investment highlights of Poda, we believe we're set to become a major player in the heat-not-burn industry globally. Our multi-patented zero cleaning pods and our flagship Beyond Burn Poda pods offer a really fantastic consumer experience. We can offer all of the satisfaction of traditional smoking with no smoke and no tobacco ingredients. Our patented blend of pelletized tea leaves and synthetic nicotine really offers an amazing flavor while simultaneously not being subject to the duties and taxes associated with traditional tobacco products. This allows us to price our products extremely competitively compared to our tobacco-containing competitors, such as the IQOS. We have a skilled team of management looking to grow our company on a truly global level. We have an advisory board with experienced tobacco professionals. We're ready to launch our product with 400,000 pods per month, which is a very small launch in the tobacco space, but that's something that we will be scaling up very rapidly in Q3 of this year. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation today, and I look forward to any questions you may have.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan. I want to reiterate that if you're interested in asking a question and are logged into the GoToWebinar app or web platform, you can submit your question to us directly right in the question module. I'm going to jump right into some of the questions that were submitted prior to the webinar. Firstly, what kind of market penetration do you see compared to the other HNB brands?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think we anticipate having similar market penetration. So we look at saying the global tobacco market consists mainly of tobacco smokers consuming traditional cigarettes. All of those traditional cigarette consumers are potential Poda customers. We aim to be capturing upwards of 20 to 50% of the consumers smoking traditional cigarettes as time goes on. Our long-term goal is very similar to IQOS, where we would envision a truly smoke-free future. I think the time has come for the world to move past traditional smoking and to move more towards reduced risk alternatives. The science is clear. Smoking is dangerous. The time is now to introduce reduced risk methods for people to continue smoking if they're not going to give up smoking.
Right. Excellent. Since there are no cleaning requirements with the Poda pods, do you feel there is a cost benefit to your product?
Yeah, I think essentially the no cleaning system really offers a huge benefit to consumers. And because we're able to produce our products at very competitive price points and are not subject to the duties and taxes associated with it, I think the cost associated with our product is very low or actually less than using traditional cigarettes or other HMB alternatives. So it's really all benefit, not a lot of cost.
Great. And I know you kind of addressed this during the presentation, but for our audience, how are your patents progressing among the other 65 countries you mentioned pending?
Yeah, so very well. I don't know if you have much experience in patenting around the world, but essentially each country has its own local patent office. So we have a team of IP lawyers who work on our behalf for progressing those patents through each different country. It's a huge amount of work, but our patents are moving very well through that process. And like I said, we anticipate having full granted patents in all of those countries by the end of 2023.
Terrific. What kind of demand or reception do you anticipate from the major countries such as like US and China?
Yeah, we're very excited about launching our product into these markets. Like I said, because heat not burn and specifically the Poda system offers such a close analog to traditional smoking, we anticipate very positive return and very positive reviews from our customers. Based on the market trials we've done to date, people love using the Poda product. And I think the combination of a fantastic product sold at a fantastic price point is going to result in very rapid consumer acquisition.
Great. We have one of our online questions. If a user wants to combine, for example, tobacco and coffee, are they manually inserting their own raw material, tobacco and coffee beans, into an empty Poda pod?
Yeah, that's a great question. So essentially, initially we will be only offering pre-filled Poda pod options to customers. So the customer wouldn't have the ability to introduce their own substances into the pod. However, as we move forward, the platform is very robust and could easily be offered in an empty pod platform for consumers to put the material of their choosing in. As it relates to coffee and tobacco, that's something that we are actively exploring as offering a pre-filled version that contains both nicotine and caffeine. I think the potential of that product is very massive in markets where it would be allowed by regulation.
Yeah. All right. Before asking the last, we're just going to take one more question right now as we're coming to a close. We wanted to ask one more online question. When do you think we can expect Pod's products in stores or online stores?
Well, that's very much a jurisdictionally and location-based question. We're in late Q2, we will be launching a web portal where consumers can purchase products directly from Poda. From that point moving forward, we will be aggressively expanding our production and distribution reach into various markets around the world. So depending on where you are in the world, hopefully that will be occurring as soon as possible. That's our goal, is to be selling our products globally at a massive scale within the next few years. So.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan. And thank you everybody for joining today's webinar. Today's webinar recording will soon be made available on Poda's website. If you have any additional questions that have not been addressed on this webinar, please feel free to email us at poda@rbmilestone.com. Again, that's poda@rbmilestone.com. Thank you again, and you are now free to disconnect.
Thanks for joining.